You couldn't stop thinking about the hand. It had been days since the seal shattered in the woods. Since the voice whispered its prophecy. Since that clawed shadow reached for the world above like it belonged here. You hadn't slept well. Every time you closed your eyes, you saw that hand again, curling up from the ground, stretching toward the sky, just inches from grabbing you. And every time, you'd wake up drenched in sweat, heart racing, breath caught in your throat. You weren't the only one affected. Heeseung hadn't cracked a smile in 2 days. Jake was always outside, pacing the yard like he was waiting for something to come out of the shadows. Jungwon barely spoke, always checking and rechecking the protective barriers around both houses. And Niki, usually quiet and reserved, was even more distant than usual, his eyes flicking toward dark corners and empty spaces like he expected something to leap out. Whatever had come through wasn't done. One evening, just as the sun dipped below the hills, Sunoo came over with a backpack full of snacks. "We need to take a break," he said. "Recharge a little. Clear our heads." You sat on the porch with him, feet dangling off the steps, sharing a bag of chips while the cicadas buzzed in the grass. "It's kind of weird," you said after a long pause. "How quiet the neighborhood is. Even before all this, I never saw people." Sunoo glanced over at you. "You noticed that too? I thought it was just me." "It's not just you," he said. "Most of the other houses are empty." You frowned. "What do you mean empty?" "I mean, no one lives in them. They're props." You turned to face him. "Props? Like fake houses?" He nodded. "The gate does more than pull things through. It hides things. Alters them. The neighborhood isn't real the way it should be." You stared down the street, at the neat row of homes with trimmed hedges and glowing porch lights. The same lights that never turned off. The same windows that never opened. The same mailboxes that never filled. "Okay, that's officially creepy." Sunoo smiled, trying to keep the mood light. "Yeah. Welcome to our world." Later that night, Heeseung called everyone to the basement. The room was filled with books, maps, and old scrolls that looked like they belonged in a museum. A new one sat open on the table, its pages filled with symbols, diagrams, and drawings of creatures that made your skin crawl. "We've been doing research," Jay said, "trying to figure out what came through the broken seal." "It wasn't the gate itself," Jungwon added. "But it was something from the other side." Niki placed a single photo on the table. It was grainy, old, torn at the edges. But you could make out the figure in the center. Tall, humanoid, but twisted. Its limbs were too long. Its eyes were white voids. And its fingers were claws. "We call it the Hollow," Heeseung said. "It's a scout. The first thing that breaks through when the seals start to fail." You leaned in closer. "What does it want?" Jake answered, voice low. "To find the vessel." You sat back. "Okay, I feel like I should know what that means by now." Jay looked you straight in the eye. "It's you." The room went still. "What?" "You're the vessel," Heeseung said. "That's why the gate reacts to you. That's why the Hollow appeared. It's drawn to your energy." You stared at them, unsure whether to laugh or panic. "You're telling me I'm some kind of magical battery for an interdimensional demon portal?" "Not a battery," Jungwon said. "More like a key. A bridge. Something that connects both sides." "Cool," you said. "So basically, I'm cursed." Jake shrugged. "Depends how you look at it. Some people would call it chosen. I'd rather be unchosen, thanks." Before the conversation could go any further, the lights flickered. A cold gust swept through the room. The pages of the book on the table flipped rapidly on their own, landing on a new diagram. A circle. 7 symbols around it. And in the center, a figure bound in light. "It's starting," Heeseung said. "The gate's aligning." "The next seal is going to break," Niki added. "Soon." "How do you know?" "Because it always happens in 7s, Jungwon said. 7 guardians. 7 seals. 7 days. And how many days has it been since I moved in?" Jake glanced at his phone. 6. The next morning, you woke up early and walked outside. Mist clung to the ground like a blanket. The sun was trying to break through the clouds, but couldn't quite manage it. Everything felt heavy, like the air itself was holding its breath. Then you heard it. Whispers. Not clear words. Just sounds, soft and echoing, from every direction at once. You turned slowly, but no one was there. You weren't imagining it. You knew that now. The gate was speaking. And it was getting louder. Back inside the house, you found Jungwon at the table, scribbling into a journal. You told him about the whispers. He nodded without looking up. They're increasing. The gate's calling out. To what? To you. To us. To what's still locked inside. You hesitated. Do you think it knows I'm scared? He looked up at you, his gaze steady. Yes. But it doesn't care. Later that afternoon, the 7 boys gathered again. The next seal was believed to be hidden beneath the abandoned greenhouse on the far side of the neighborhood, another leftover from before the area was developed. You followed them there, your footsteps growing heavier the closer you got. The greenhouse was old, glass cracked, metal rusted, vines crawling over the sides like veins. Inside, it was suffocating, hot, damp, full of shadows. Heeseung led the way, sweeping aside plants until he found the center panel of stone beneath the soil. Another circle. Another seal. Jake placed his hand on it. It's warm. Suddenly, a sharp hiss echoed through the air. You turned around and froze. The hollow stood at the edge of the greenhouse. Closer than before. Clearer. Taller. Its body was dark, like smoke shaped into bones. Its eyes were blank white ovals. And when it opened its mouth, the whispers poured out like a river. It raised a hand, and the seal beneath your feet glowed red. Move! Heeseung shouted. Everything exploded into chaos. The ground shook. The glass shattered. You were pulled backward by Jay just as a crack formed in the seal. The hollow moved fast. Too fast. It lunged for you, claws outstretched. And then Niki was there. Between you and it. His charm pulsed blue as he drove it into the hollow's chest. The creature screamed, a horrible, layered sound that wasn't human. It recoiled, its form flickering, unstable. For a second, it seemed to fade. But then it struck. A wave of dark energy burst from its body, throwing everyone off their feet. You hit the ground hard, vision spinning. And when you looked up, Niki was gone. Just gone. No! Sunoo screamed, rushing forward. Jake grabbed his arm. Don't wait. Wait. But it was too late. The hollow was gone, and so was Niki. Silence fell over the ruins of the greenhouse. Jungwon fell to his knees beside the cracked seal. It's broken. You couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. Heeseung looked at the mark, now dim and lifeless. 1 more down. 5 remain. You whispered the question you didn't want to ask. Is he coming back? No one answered. And for the first time, you truly understood what was at stake. Not just the seals. Not just your memories. But your friends. One by one, the gate was going to take them. Unless you stopped it.